Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I'm going to hand over to Jan shortly, but just for the benefit of people who don't know us, I'm Willie Fitzgerald. I work for Simply Dynamics, and I'm just going to give a 3-minute introduction to our company before I hand over to Jan to do the presentation and the demo. So, Aileen, you can see my screen. I'm the presenter, am I currently?
Yes, all good, Willie. Yeah.
All good, yeah. Okay, you're letting people in.
Yes.
So we're Simply Dynamics. We're a software company based here in Dublin. We sell Dynamics 365 ERP and CRM solutions. That's all we do. We only do Dynamics. We don't do anything else. So we're Dynamics experts. These days, we're a cloud-first organization as well. So the vast majority of our implementations are in the cloud. But where required, we also have the on-prem versions still available. And today we're looking at an add-on to Dynamics 365 Business Central called Jet from a company called Insight Software. And the reason we're looking at it is because over the last few years, the landscape has changed dramatically in the ERP implementation world. And these days, people are looking for standard off-the-shelf ERP solutions, whether it's Business Central or another solution. People want off-the-shelf standard solutions. That's not always possible, so where there's a functionality gap, the first protocol these days is an add-on on the marketplace, an add-on such as Jet. And why are people going for these standard solutions with standard certified add-ons plugged into them? Primarily because people are buying cloud software, and when you buy Business Central Online in the cloud, it upgrades continuously and automatically, 2 major upgrades a year. So if you've got standard Business Central and standard certified add-ons that plug into it, your upgrades will work seamlessly enough. Compare that or contrast that with if you've got lots of customization and bespoke work for your individual site as Business Central upgrades. You got to worry about those customizations every time there's an upgrade. That's what people are trying to avoid. And the other reason people like buying add-ons such as Jet is because these add-ons are Microsoft certified. So it's that little bit of extra quality assurance. And finally, people like them because people want standard Business Central, but standard plugins means their site is standard completely. So if they want to move from one Dynamics partner to another Dynamics partner for whatever reason, whether it's service or price related, it makes that process a hell of a lot easier. There on the right, you can see some of our Dynamics 365 customers. They're all Business Central customers of ours. Then here, just to highlight some of the other add-ons that we sell, or some of our add-ons that we sell generally in Simply Dynamics. Jet is the one we're going to look at today. Now, there's a few different Jet modules or few different Jet add-ons, and we're time constrained today, so we're just going to skim the surface. And what I'll say is, if you see something within one of the tools that we're going to show you that you want to find out more about, we can arrange a follow-up session for that specific piece of software add-on. Some of the other add-ons we sell, if you're using Business Central or Nav and you've got employees on the road that want to record expenses and you want to manage their expenses, we have an add-on for that called the Continuing Expense Manager. Netronic is an add-on to enable visual scheduling functionality within Nav or Business Central. In essence, Gantt charts within the ERP solution to control your production or jobs function modules. SAN is an e-commerce or web shop solution for Business Central and Nav. Continuing document capture, that allows you to automate the accounts payable department, so your purchase invoices that you receive from your vendors or suppliers are input automatically when they're emailed in, ready for approval. And Tasklet is another add-on for Business Central, which is a mobile WMS warehouse management add-on. So if you've got handhelds in your warehouse and you want to run your ERP solution, Tasklet is the Business Central add-on to enable that. And just generally some housekeeping then before I hand over to Jan. Jan's having enough for questions to be asked as we go along. So you can type them into the chat, or if you prefer, we can wait till the end, whichever we're flexible in that. It's been recorded, the session. So Aileen, my colleague, is recording it, and that'll be shared later if you want to watch back. And anybody that's missed the webinar will also get a copy of the recording shared after the webinar. And as I said earlier, if you see something within Jet that we skip over fairly quickly and you want to more information, we can arrange a follow-up session. That's it from my side again. That's enough about Simply Dynamics and add-ons. I'll hand over to yourself. I'll stop presenting here. Presenting now. We can see our screen now.
Yeah, sorry. As soon as I started sharing, I lost Teams somewhere, so I couldn't unmute myself anymore. Right? Just let me find the Teams window. There we go. Yeah. Hello, I'm Jan from Insight Software. As Willy just mentioned, we provide for a suite of products in the reporting landscape. Our JET products, which are two of our most important products, are the ones specifically focused to Microsoft Business Central, Microsoft Dynamics in general as well. We do some FNSCM, but our main focus is, of course, Business Central. As Willy's mentioned as well, I got the chat open here. So if you have any questions along the way, and if they're relevant, I'll pick them up along the way. If they're not, maybe we have a bit of time afterwards, I can handle them, or otherwise we can get back to them. So just type away in the chat if you have a question. So I'll jump straight into it. So as I said, we're going to talk about JET reports and JET analytics. And first off, I want to talk about JET reports. JET reports is our Excel add-in, which means we basically looked at Excel and looked at how can we make this a good reporting tool. So what allows us to do that is to make some really fast and flexible reports, because we are working in Excel, of course. So quick look at setting it up is actually pretty straightforward. And we, if you see the little graphic here, it's just a direct connection to Business Central. So there's nothing in between. Of course, there's an AppSource app that does the connection if you're talking about Business Central public cloud. But the setup is very straightforward. You have an Excel add-in that connects to your Business Central, and the data you're getting is, of course, real time from your Business Central. We have a scheduler inside there, which allows us to schedule reports, which is very much loved by our users. And we live and breathe in Excel. So that means in terms of training, in terms of being able to create your own reports, your Excel knowledge is paramount. And we've noticed that with a lot of our customers, that is really very much present. So that's a big advantage. So as I said earlier, what we did with Excel, we basically looked at people are using Excel, right? They're using it as a reporting tool, and we looked at it, how can we make it a better or a really good reporting tool? And one of those things is just the ease of connection of getting your data, getting your tables and your fields from Business Central. There's no coding in between, no programming to be done. You get access to all your tables, all your fields, even flow fields directly from Business Central, which makes it a lot more accessible to create any report you want. For the direct connection, we're using real-time data. So again, there's no pre-processing done like a couple times a day or once a day. No, it's just when you press the refresh button, it's all real time. It's all the data from your Business Central. We also got a drill down into Dynamics Business Central or older nav versions as well, of course. I'm going to demonstrate what that means, but it gives us a gateway towards Business Central or directly from our report, again, which is really nice to have. We have a very simple setup that allows for easy cross-company reporting. Again, something that can be tricky within Business Central, depending on what reporting utility you're using. In JET reports, it's very straightforward to do multi-company reporting for finance, but also for just about anything else like inventory and sales. We can also report across multiple data sources. So if you have your older NAV there, you could also get your data from there using JET reports. As I mentioned, we have a fully featured scheduler. That means we have a scheduler that allows for batch scheduling, allows for conditional scheduling. Conditional schedule speaks for itself. I think you can run a report and then based on some logic in Excel, you can say, oh, I'm going to send this report out or not to the relevant people, or you can pick the relevant people depending on the result of the report. That's conditional scheduling. Batch scheduling is when you say, for example, I have this report, I want it sent out to every salesperson every week. You don't have to set up 10 schedulers, one for every salesperson, and then when a salesperson I don't know, moves house or whatever, you have to change the schedules. No, it dynamically generates that batch from your BC data. So you can fetch your salesperson list, including their email addresses directly from your BC and schedule them like that. So that's batch scheduling, really, really nice feature. And lastly, looking at the distribution of those reports in Excel, we have the Jet Hub, which I'm going to talk about briefly, which is a bit of a portal you can publish your reports to, so that people can run it from the browser instead of running it from Excel. Maybe at that point, not everyone has access to their Excel. Maybe they're using a tablet or a smartphone, something like that. So I'm going to jump directly into the demo for Jet Reports. And for the demo of Jet Reports, of course, I just open up Excel. We got a regular Excel here. There's one thing that changed, and it's this little extra ribbon here called Jet. That's a Jet ribbon. Jet, as I said, lives and breathes in Excel. When you're designing reports, you're doing it in Excel. When you're refreshing reports, unless, of course, using the Jet Hub, you're doing it in Excel. So you're using Excel. For the connection on the right, I have a couple of connections in here. I have an older NAV called 2015. I have a Business Central connection set up. But I also have connection to a SQL data warehouse, a tabular model. So we can connect to just about any data source. But of course, our bread and butter is Business Central. We also have about 100 pre-built reports. I'm going to show you later that you can find on our website. Just download them. You can browse through them. You don't need Jet to browse through them. You can just look at them, see how a Jet report could look. Spoiler, it could be just about any Excel file. That's how they made it. So we have connection to just about any of these. We also have a little company toggle here that allows us to switch companies fast. As I said, we also have the possibility to run across multiple companies in one report. Good. Jump into the tools bar here, which is the biggest section on this toolbar. The first 4 you see are 4 Excel functions, and that is mainly what Jet adds to automate your Excel files. It's just Excel functions. So people need to learn a couple of Excel functions, and it allows them access to their full stack of their Business Central data, which is a really neat way of doing it because it really builds on that Excel knowledge. I do a lot of trainings, and when I get trainings, it's usually not the consultants of the partner that know a lot of BC that have the head start. It's usually financial people or inventory people that work and live in Excel all day that pick this up really fast. So of course, we don't need to do anything function by function. We have a couple of wizards here, as you can see, and I'm going to show you a couple of them. The first one I'm going to open up is Fast Financials. Fast Financials, when I click it, it immediately pulls my chart of accounts from my Business Central. So again, this is real time, this is live. It pulls this just now from my Business Central. And I can start selecting some accounts using the normal, control or combination of control and shift to select multiple, and then drag and drop a couple of those. Because this is a wizard, this will do a little bit more than make a simple list of accounts. But in general, it makes a list of those accounts, puts them in Excel, and these are up to date. I am a designer. As a designer, I have the option to allow my viewers, so my colleagues basically, to change some of the options, maybe some dates or dimension filters when they run this report. The wizard automatically created a couple of those, like the dates and the dimensions. You can change these. These are really flexible. You can do there whatever you want. You can say, oh no, my colleagues shouldn't change the date. You can just remove that one. Nothing to it. So as a viewer, what happens? I can just run this report. So any viewer within my organization can run this report. They'll get a pop-up to maybe change the date, and they run it. As they refresh it, of course, again, pulls that data directly from Business Central. When jumping into this, you can see on the numbers, if I click any of these, you can see a little arrow appear right next to it. And that's the drill down function I talked about earlier. So when I click this, what's going to happen? It's going to open up my Business Central client, and it's going to jump into, in this case, because it's General Ledger, it's going to jump into this General Ledger entry and show the details on that. So whatever filter I put on, it will transport that into Business Central and click that open. It's a really nice feature, a really nice way of adding a lot of data in your report without actually putting a lot of data in your report. So your report can really be a gateway towards your Business Central. Someone sees an exception in there, you see a document there, an invoice, you can click and it opens up Business Central. We do this for Business Central. Of course, we've done this for nav as well. So if you have a nav Windows client, that also works. But now we're in Business Central, and of course, we are using the web browser. Okay, so I'm going back to design mode. I'm going to rename this sheet, and this is going to be my GL sheet. GL for General Ledger, of course. And I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to make a customer list here. So, okay, Deborah, do you need to edit an Excel permission in BC to use Jet? No, I don't think those are related. But if you're running Jet, you do need your Business Central credentials, because Jet is using the Business Central credentials. So that also works the other way around. For example, if you get, for some reason, you get an Excel file that connects to HR data and you don't have access to HR in Business Central, you won't be able to refresh that report. Or even if you're a designer in Jet, but you don't have access to certain companies, you won't be able to see those companies in the report. So it does leverage the Business Central credentials, but I think the edit in Excel permission is it's separated from that. Okay, so I was going to create a little customer list here. One of the next tools I can use here is the browser. I really like the browser because the browser is basically, it allows me a lot of flexibility. So it's not really a wizard, it's more of a tool that helps you pull a report together. And what does it show me? On the left, I get all my tables. So that's all of them, all extension tables, all hidden tables even. Jet exposes all of them. And on the right, I get all of the fields from a certain table. So I can look for a table. I can even make some of them my favorites, just to sift through them. You know, we got over 1,000 tables here, so selecting the ones you use a lot, it's really convenient. So I'm selecting my customer table, and as you can see the balance fields here, the balance due, which are flow fields, calculated fields within BC. We also can use them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select a couple of fields. I'm going to jump to the number and the name. For example, let's pull those on there. So these got two number and name there. And I'm going to select one of the balances. Let's take this balance there. There we go. Oh, you can see these have little numbers in front of them. I use them because I find it convenient when using a multi-language. If you're mainly working in English, you don't really need them, but translations other than English and BC are in general terrible. So it's convenient to have the number there if you know the numbers. Anyway, so what I get now, it looks like I get one line. What this line is going to do, it's basically going to copy this for every customer it has as soon as I run it. So let's run this report just to have a quick look. As you can see, it just gives me a list of my customers and my balances. I can click any customer. Let's do this Blainmark Hi-Fi shop. And if I click that one, you'll see it jumps to the customer in BC. Give me that Blainmark Hi-Fi shop. What I want to do now, I want to do a bit of layout about this, on this. And when we talk about layout, again, that's where the training stops, because we don't teach anyone to do layout, because everything layout here, of course, is completely Excel. Let's do a little sum underneath. We just take the Excel auto sum. There we go. Make that into a number. Make the sum a bit bigger. I think you catch my drift, right? I'm going to run this in a second. Even if I, for example, want 5% of that balance, I can just use Excel, of course. Put 5% here. Say, do that times 5%. Don't forget to lock your formulas. That's where usually the people knowing BC really well, but Excel not so well, fail. Locking in the formulas with the dollar signs. And then you can run it. And as you can see, all the formulas, they'll just drag through. They're just Excel formulas. Even the sum, it just works. So again, a lot of what you see, a lot of what you do in Jet is Excel, your Excel knowledge. We can use any Excel functionality. So yeah, we can use our pivot tables, our conditional formatting. We can use any of that. I see I'm quickly going through my time like this. It was up until 1 o'clock, right, Willie?
No.
Oh.
It's just 12 again.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. I mean, well,
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. Your
Yeah,
time.
I'm in Europe. You're right. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, we're up until 12. Okay, it's gonna be really short for Jet Analytics, but I'll give it a go. I'm gonna skip the Jet Hub. There's some couple of videos about it. In short, we can upload it, and then I think I might have it open the Jet Hub. Maybe it's logged out. Keep me signed in, and we can basically run those reports from the browser, run them, and open them in the browser in Excel Online. So you don't need Excel to do that. Scheduler, again, I'm going to skip it. I talked about that before. But this is, in short, this is Jet Reports. I'm going to quickly jump into Jet Analytics. What I'm going to show you for Jet Analytics is the front end. So I'm going to talk about Jet Analytics briefly. And basically what we do with Jet Analytics is instead of having the users connect directly to Business Central, we're going to create a data warehouse in between. So we're going to create a database in between that makes all that data more accessible for reporting. When does Jet Analytics come into play is complexity. So I was talking earlier, imagine you have an upgrade from NAV or even AX coming from a completely different ERP system, and you want to merge those two databases. That is possible in something like Jet, but in essence, if you want to do that constructively, you want to do it a lot, you want to do a lot of reporting on that, it's a lot easier to do it beforehand. An example could be it's 2022, you guys switched over from NAV to BC. Yeah, if you're gonna do that in the reporting tool in Excel, every time in Excel you need to know, oh, in February 2022 we switched over, so all the data before that is coming from our old NAV, all the data after that is coming from our new BC, so things like that. It's okay if you want to do it for one report exclusively, but if you do that constructively, yep. So Sage MBC is one we've actually recently, I had a customer that did the same thing. So that's a good example because your BC partner will probably not have the BC, the Sage knowledge. Your Sage knowledge would not have the BC knowledge. So what you do is you combine those and make those into a data warehouse. So once that knowledge is in there, you have your data warehouse, which you can use to report on. What we put out with Jet Analytics is pure Microsoft. So we put out SQL databases, we put out tabular models, and there's hundreds of products that can leverage these. Jet Reports is an example. It's a really great tool to automate Excel files, but Power BI is a really popular one as well. And what we do is we enable a lot more people within the organization to use Power BI. Because again, I think I got some slides on that. Let's get to that quickly. So talking about Jet Analytics and talking about BI, like Power BI, a lot of what you see is the front end. So people clicking together a little dashboard, I can do that in 10 seconds in Power BI if somebody prepared a data set for me. And that's the big if, because that is where all the work goes. Getting that data from your Business Central, but also from your Sage, and then combining it, making it a nice data set so you can make a pretty dashboard. And the pretty dashboard is just the last couple of steps. So that's where Jet Analytics lives is in that backend. And again, we leverage our Business Central knowledge a lot with the connectors that work really well and solve a lot of the issues that people otherwise have with transforming Business Central data and connecting to Business Central data even. So looking at the situation, we often see something like this. Could be just an Excel, could be with Jet Reports. But if someone is doing this, this is someone with a lot of knowledge. Well, in reality, you probably have something like this, right? All sorts of people doing all sorts of copy pasting in Excel and setting that up. Even switching to a more BI-oriented tool like Qlik or Power BI, you still have that issue. And the issue we have or we see with our customers is this guy. This guy has Business Central knowledge, maybe the legacy database. In Deborah's case would be Sage, often in AX or in NAV, and maybe some other database with budgets or CRM, something like that. Then he has the knowledge to transform all that data in Power BI, and then he has the knowledge to make proper dashboard for the business in Power BI. I always say for my partners, like simply, if you have too many of those within your organization, send them to us. These people are a bottleneck to create dashboards, and especially now with what we see, more and more people within the organization want those dashboards. It's a lot better to try and enable people within the organization, within certain departments like inventory, sales, purchase, finance, within those departments, find people and enable them to create those dashboards. So how do we do that? We put a system in between where all that Business Central and legacy database knowledge is already pre-built, and they get access to what is pre-built so that it's a lot easier to build a dashboard. I got 4 minutes left. That's plenty of time to show you what happens when you connect to something that comes out of the data manager. Okay. Oh yeah, by the way, and we got 7 of those data models we got pre-built for Business Central already. Sales and finance, really popular ones, but inventory and there's a lot of useful ones in there already. So a lot of stuff is pre-built, and we deliver the tooling that allows you to easily add extra fields to that if necessary. But that's usually 1 or 2 power users within an organization or a partner. So let me grab Power BI. So what happens if I connect to one of these, and I see I got 3 minutes left, so that's fine. So I'm connecting to one of those data models. As you can see, I got 2 of them on here. I'll take the sales data model. And the idea of a data model, as I said, is bring that to the masses and just have one consensus within an organization. So when we look at this data model, and let's take a chart there, I can look and I got a profit here, and that profit calculation is predefined in the data manager. So anytime you use profit, whether you use it in a regional perspective or with salespersons or with item categories, that profit calculation is predefined. And that can be anything you want, but it's defined within your organization. So anyone who uses it within the organization uses the same one. So let's do profit, and let's do the profit by company. Let's put that company on the legend, and let's do that one by posting date. There we go. So basically, all I had to do is click profit, company, and posting date. Let's do that one more time. For example, let's do item quantity. Sorry, do quantity, and let's do it by item category. There we go. We got a quantity by item category. So you can see when I said in 10 seconds I could create a dashboard, I wasn't lying. But as I said, the most important part is this data was predefined. It was there for me, so that made my job a lot easier here. Let's do one more on item quantity sales, maybe a profit percentage on there. Here we go. So that's the idea of Jet Analytics. Again, this could be a demo of 45 minutes on its own. It's a really powerful product, and we use it when people run into the limits of something like Jet Reports or regular BC reporting or Power BI. We put this in the middle to enable them to just make a lot of powerful dashboards. By the way, I could open up Excel, connect to this data model, and do exactly the same thing in Excel. Excel just doesn't look as pretty. It's actually better for your numbers, right? But it's what you want, because it's just Microsoft technology and you can connect it. And that's my time.
Thanks a million, yeah.
No problem.
I know it was really fast demo, but I think you covered up everything there.
Yep.
Add the questions as we go along. So unless there's any other questions, then we can wrap up. If any other questions, type them into the chat. As we've said, this is recorded and will be shared afterwards anyway by email.
One question I often get is how fast can which so Jet Reports is just connecting to it, right? So that's set up in a couple of minutes. Jet Analytics, I got a little video where I set it up in, I think, 15 minutes. So also that is, you can set that up on an environment in less than an hour and get going with those standard data models.
When you're using Business Central, and you contrast that with your, I think you mentioned Qlik, your traditional non-Dynamics BI tools, which take many days to set up. Difference.
So Joe's question, will a change to data in Excel be backed into BC? No. So Jet Reports is reporting only. It doesn't write back. That's one-way traffic. Yeah.
Your data in Business Central writes out to Jet and Excel.
Yeah. But yeah, I understand this question. There's I think some sort of Excel export you can do in Business Central that allows you to write back, right?
It is in Excel.
Yep. See, I've okay. So that's a good question. Licensed users. There's two types of users. There's designers and there's designers and viewers. For the pricing, I would refer to the partner on that.
Pricing open here in front of me actually. So for Jet Reports, the foundation pack is €253 for the which is one designer and 5 viewers. €253 a month. Actually, that's next year's pricing, which is slightly different than this year's pricing.
I think this year is a little bit less, right?
It's 260. I think this not 260. It's slightly less anyway, 10% less. Whatever. 40 is it? So it's a couple of £100 a month for Jet Reports foundation package. Jet Analytics is a little bit dearer because it's a full data warehouse product, but relative to other products like Qlik, for example, or Diver, is still inexpensive. It's €726 a month for Jet Analytics.
The thing with Jet Analytics is that it scales really well in the sense that it's SQL stuff. So you deploy it and then basically you have unlimited users, viewers. Everyone who has Excel can connect to it. Anyone who could use it. So you basically just got your front end pricing, but if you're using Excel, you're probably already paying for that. And other than that, it's Power BI licenses, which are separate, of course. But yeah, it doesn't really have a user limit or a user bracketing. Non-web-based BC 365, we actually have a lot of on-premise customers. Basically, technology-wise, Business Central on-prem is really close to NAV, and we've been doing that for decades. So no, we don't have any issue on that. It's actually for us, it was a lot easier. Now we had to build new connectors for the cloud solutions. Okay. Good questions.
Somebody wants a one-to-one meeting with myself or Jan or both. Just get in touch. Done, Jan. Fitting it all into 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Have to rush through it. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, we finished there. Thanks a million.
Bye, guys.
Bye.